how does Monti Ossenfort kick that mantra, Bo, of having just kind of a free agent bust mindset from this fan base right now?
Yeah, I think by being aggressive on the free agent market, or being aggressive as far as the trade market, and trying to not just, kind of raise the floor of, as far as the talent floor on this roster any longer. It's now flushed them with star caliber players, guys that are going to get them over this hump from 8-9, 9-8, knocking on the door of the postseason, and legitimate contenders that can make plays when they need it. And I think that's going to take getting out of his comfort zone and spending on some players, and not really looking at free agency as just maybe this facade kind of thing, where it's like you're just really kind of burning money, salary cap dollars, where I think this is, at least this last offseason, really proved that you can find impact players.
Yeah, I'm with you. Sometimes it's just as simple as like close a deal, get aggressive, spend big money. There are going to be people on the corners of the internet that dissect every deal. This is an overpay. This isn't a good move. I don't get this. I'm going to tell you right now, if those people exist, I don't want to hear from them. If you come out and say they overspent on a pass rusher or a defensive tackle of note, somebody who can play, they have almost $100 million to spend. They're going to have to spend on some people. I would much rather them overpay on a guy if it meant they're trying to win games this fall and win the NFC West. You want to nickel and dime people? Guess what? You finish 8-9 this year. That's what happened last offseason. You went and you tried to get deals, and you tried to find the next Yelda Froldholt, but at every position. And Yelda Froldholt and those kind of contracts, Bo, those are outliers, right? There's a reason Jonathan Grenard got big money, and Everson Griffin, they're on playoff teams. Andrew Van Ginkel, all pro. Like, we went down the list. Here are the top edge rushers available. Yeah. Leonard Williams, top defensive tackle available. Hey, they all had great years. They're all on teams that were above 500. They all were productive. And then what the Cardinals do? Bilal Nichols, who's that? Oh, he not healthy? Oh, Justin Jones. Chicago was like, no thanks. Oh, can't play? He was hurt? Like, yeah, that tracks for me. Like,
Leonard Williams literally won a game for his team
against the Cardinals. Yeah. And the Jets. He literally, Bo, or Shane, can you come off mute for a sec?
No, he doesn't want to talk to you.
He doesn't want to talk to me. I just, unequivocally, Leonard Williams was the MVP of the Seahawks this year, outside of Jackson Smith and Jigba. Is he nodding his head?
He got quiet down the stretch, but yeah. Yeah.
Like during their hot
defensively,
when they were hot,
defensively, absolutely.
They won 10 games. He was their best player on the team outside of their Jackson Smith.
I'm actually still working on the banner of best team to not make the playoffs. It should be dropping here in the next.
He was available to sign. They didn't franchise him. He hit the market.
Cardinals won 10 games and didn't make the playoffs one year. The Patriots won 11 games and didn't make the playoffs one year.
Seahawks won 7 games and made the playoffs one year.
Yeah, that was bad. And they won a playoff game that year too.
I'm at the point with this. I know Ossenfort is going to be active in the trade market. And I'm going to be excited about that, especially if it's Max Crosby, like we've telegraphed. If he does not go out on the first week of free agency and give somebody over $60 million, not in guarantees, but a $60 million contract and over $40 million in guarantees, I'm going to be upset.
I'm not going to put a number on it.
I think we could ballpark a number. I want to see him do it. Can you do it, Monty? Or is it not in your DNA? Because I'm going to tell you right now, you have less draft picks available this year. You could be in a market for a quarterback next offseason. You were 0 for 2 in making the playoffs. Fair or not, right? We understand what was against you. The expectation this year, as Michael Wilson sat on our set on Monday and said, or Tuesday, we're all in. We got to make the playoffs. Well, how do you do that? Not with Bilal Nichols' friends, not with Jonah Williams, who can't play because he's injured. Go out and get the best the free agent market has to offer. And that's why I have been staunchly committed to, if a T. Higgins is available and it makes sense for you, pursue that, right? Go out. If it's a position of need to some degree, whether it's 6, 7, 8, 9 on your list, go and pursue that. You can't have enough good players by the end of the year.
No, whether it's free agency or whether it's in the draft, it's now the emphasis to improve the defensive front seven is long overdue. I think that just becomes a box that needs to be checked. And if that's attack it from all angles, free agency and the draft, and start to look at the numbers crunch. But if you could elevate that group and it can take a significant jump, like you're going to get production consistently from somebody on the interior and somebody coming off the edge, and what that could do for the entire team. Because I thought the point you made, as far as it might have been the finale, it might have been, the week before that, creating opportunities for this offense by taking the ball away and getting off the field. I think it would do wonders for this team and its ability to put up points and play with leads, pen their ears back, put up some numbers that we've seen Gannon defenses put up before. Obviously not here in the desert, but I think utilize all your assets, your cap space, your draft capital, and really kind of push this team from like this middling tier, which is great. It's really like to go from where they were last year to the middle, but muddled up there with a bunch of teams and push them through. It would really kind of, when we're doing this and we're celebrating on January 16th, 2026, we're saying this was a slam dunk hire. Can you, like, we're talking, probably previewing a divisional round game, and we're celebrating Monti Ossenfort even more so.
Yeah, I just feel like you need to be in on the Trey Smiths. You need to be in on the Josh Sweats. They're not going to solve all your problems, but they just get you that much closer to what you couldn't finish off this year. Think about how many close games, Bo, the Cardinals lost at the end of the year, and you just needed one more play. We were sitting there against the Vikings. Somebody make one more play, or against Carolina, right? Sustain the drive.
Gannon looks like a genius for taking the points if you have somebody make a play in that Vikings
If
game.
you have Jonathan Grenard because you weren't a cheap ass and he's on your roster and he smokes their backup tackles like Sean McVay did in the wild card round, you beat the Vikings. You're probably a playoff team. I mean, it just you are who you are with Kyler Murray, for better or worse, right? You've got a guy who now can start 17 games. He can play at a high level, and he can have some peaks and valleys where you're like, defense, win us a game. We got to have the run game going. Then you need to fortify the rest of your roster here. It's not cap malpractice to spend big money in free agency. You haven't done it yet. You haven't done it. I'm looking at Bleacher Report's, top 100 free agents, aside from it nearly crashed my computer just now. I mean, they've got Josh Sweat as the number one edge rusher, and they said the number one potential destination, the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals are going to be tied to every pass rusher in free agency because guess what? They have none.
Look at all the mocks.
Right.
You got Field Yates and Mel Kiper going out and getting Mike Green. You got our guy, Fran Duffy, up on gophnx.com, Nick Scourton from Texas A&M. And I think I saw one more. It was Pro Football Focus said, here's the perfect prospect for the Arizona Cardinals is James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. All three edge rushers, all three different, walks of life, different areas in covering the NFL. And they all see this team and they understand it's long overdue that they fill that edge rusher need. And that's got to be the top priority this offseason.
Couple bird droppings here. Drew Petzing looks like will return pending something unforeseen. Chicago Bears, according to our guy Jordan Schultz, friend of the program, saying that it's either going to be Ben Johnson or Mike McCarthy as the next head coach of the Chicago Bears, assuming like either accepts. I think McCarthy would accept. And so Drew Petzing's one lone interview with Chicago. Unless he gets a second interview, doesn't look like he's going to be the head coach in Chicago.
I mean, they haven't even finished all their interviews.
They just they've
done like 12 of like 18 interviews.
Our friends at CHGO Bears, their head coaching tracker is absurd.
It's insane. And I just saw, this just came across the wire, that Cliff Kingsbury just said he's going to focus on the playoffs. He's not going to interview.
Wow. Good for Cliff, man.
I don't know if I necessarily buy that. I don't even know, like, is Ben Johnson a legitimate option for the Bears?
If Ben Johnson's going to be a head coach in 2025, it's going to be with either the Bears or the Raiders, it sounds like. like I haven't even seen anyone else interview with the Raiders. Like, they're all in on Ben Johnson. And
Yeah.
then you got people out here like Ed Warner saying that like Dion and the Cowboys, like that could be a done deal. Pray for our friends at DMVR Buffs. Pray for them.
I don't know if I think I'm praying for our DLLS friends.
I mean, that's good. I mean, it's going to be good content for them. Content's content for them.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win many games with Prime, but it'd be fun. It'd be a fun watch. Just trying to stay relevant as old Jerry.
Does he take Pat Shurmur as his OC to the Cowboys?
Yeah, 100%. And he's buddies with Mike Zimmer, so you just retain him as defensive coordinator. Micah Parsons would like that. If you didn't see it, we had our guy Clarence on yesterday of DLLS, who he's the most tapped in Cowboys beat reporter there is. Micah Parsons, he said no chance that they would trade him. So it sounds like, and I posed this to Clarence yesterday, it sounds like Dallas is just going to run it all back.
Yeah.
Plus without Mike McCarthy plus Prime. It's a bold strategy.
They're probably going to let Parsons get to a holdout. It's going to happen. That's just the Cowboys way.
Yeah.
It doesn't benefit them, but it's like, well, we've been doing that since Jerry took over. So
I'll put you on the spot real fast here.
Okay.
We are about 2 months away from free agency. We're 3 months. We're like 99 days away from the draft.
Yeah.
Give me at the end of the offseason, and you're at OTAs, you're at minicamp. The starters are there on both sides of the ball. Who is starting at pass rusher for the Arizona Cardinals on opposite ends? Tell me who's starting for this team.
I think a draft pick and Zaven Collins.
Yeah, that's not good enough. That's awful.